In today's video, we are giving you some of the best golf tips you will ever see, and this is from James. James is a member of our Sunday Club, so James, thank you ever so much for getting involved. You want to see a putting setup drill. You also want to see some tips from 10 yard, 30 yard and 60 yards in chipping. That's exactly what we're going to give you today. Guys, if you want to join Sunday Club, make sure you do check out the link in the description below. Extra content every single Sunday, including giveaways, including course vlogs, also including the chance to come and play with us. When we get enough members, guys, we're going to run golf days on Sundays included in that membership as well. Huge thanks to everyone that has signed up already. Let's get straight to it. So I'm going to start with the chipping, then Chris is going to finish things off, guys, with a putting drill for you. Guys, if you want some drills, make sure you get in the comments below, make sure you ask us in Sunday Club. But first of all, how can I chip correctly from 10 yards, 30 yards and 60 yards? James, what a fantastic question. Hewitt. We've gone with the name, we've tried. So James, we're going to kick things off, great name by the way, James, fantastic name. We're going to kick things off from 60 yards. You can see I actually laddered some different clubs up for the 30 yards and the 10 yards because this all depends on landing zone. So we've not got a lot of green to work with and we're massively into the wind here. I'm going to use 58 degree, I would use 60, but we all know Chris won't let me. And the big thing that I want to do here is get that landing zone absolutely correct. So I'm going to make sure my setup's correct. I'm going to have ball in the middle, handle leaning ever so slightly forward, but from here I've got no real obstacle to go over. The only reason why I've got this lofted club is because the ground is so wet. I can't play a bump and run because percentage wise it would take a bad bounce. The other thing to bear in mind is not to overcomplicate it. So all I'm going to do is a little pitching motion, kind of L to L, move that through, and you can see that ball going nicely towards that flag. The wind's taking it a little bit right, but that is perfect distance. How do I gauge that distance from 60 yards? So I'm thinking of my handle position and how far around the arc I want to move it. That obviously is relative to what loft I'm using. You need to practice it on the driving range. You need to come and practice it out here on the golf course. If I was using a gap wedge there instead of a lob wedge, then I wouldn't have to go as far back because it will come out lower. I'm quite happy with that shot. Now as we move forward to 30 yards here, you'll see that I've actually got a 54, and this is the 54 that we are drawing this Sunday for our members. So go and check it out, guys, in Sunday Club. But similar kind of thing really, I'm thinking landing zone. This is going to come out lower because I've got less loft and because I'm a little bit closer. I've put that wedge in ideally the wrong position because that is about my landing zone. But I'm going to move the ball a little bit forward in my stance here, have a nice shallow angle of attack, and just try and pop it just a little bit up. I did say there that club was in the way and it did stop it absolutely perfectly, but you can see what we've tried to do there, guys. I'm trying to send it in lower, bounce it in a little bit. As we get closer to the green and I don't need to rely on a good bounce with the loft or landing angle, I move down clubs. So if we go to the 10 yard shot, this is where a lot of people may actually put this. That was going to release out, lovely Chris.
It was.
But this is where I might move it back in the stance a little bit and almost play it like a putt. You don't have to use a 50 degree here. You could use a pitching wedge, 9 iron, 8 iron, 7 iron, but anything that you're comfortable with, just to get the ball rolling nice and quickly. Go on, go on, go on. And you see there, that ball has spent more time rolling on the ground than it has in the air because I'm not going over anything that I can't judge. If you can't judge something, that's generally the time to reach for loft, or if you can judge the way it's going to roll, that's when you opt for a little bit less loft. James, I hope that's helped. Guys, if you want to know a little bit more, then get in the comments below and ask us. Chris is now going to talk through putting setup and how you can hole these putts. New shoes?
New shoes. They're a bit bright, to be honest.
They are a bit bright. They're new school trainers, but carry on.
They are. Anyway, so we're going to be talking putting now. We're talking setup for James. So what we want to think is starting to get a routine, starting to get a system of how you can set up for putting, what you can do to give yourself feedback so you can improve on the course but also off the course. So first of all, if we're talking about setup, a lot of the times I see different postures where people are stood too far away, some people are stood too close. It's all arms and hands. We've got no real connection, nothing flows. We start to see the dreaded figure of eight.
Like a bad first date, Chris.
Yeah, we start to see all sorts happen. So what I want to do, guys, if you stand there, and again you can stand here with your hands out, turn your palms to the sky, you'll start to see how my biceps will become connected to my chest. From there, what I want to then do is take my grip. So my arms are connected to my chest, I've now got a feeling that my chest and arms are working together. From there we can bring the putter up, and you'll see that if I put the putter out straight, from here I'm going to bend from the waist and just let the putter fall, and you'll see from down the line from James there that my forearms and the shaft will match. My arms aren't bullet straight, but you'll see that my arms are now matching the shaft. I've got a little bit of bend here in the elbows, and that is now in a position where I can get that putter to arc in on the way back to square, and in on the way through. Not as some people or a lot of golfers think, straight back, straight through, where we start to see a lot of tilting motion and a lot of face rotation and guiding and holding off and all sorts of problems. So once we've got a basic setup, one thing we want to do to give yourself feedback is use the golf ball to your advantage. We have got some limited edition colourways here with the triple track.
Well remembered. I'd have had money on you, wouldn't remember that.
I did have to think there. But we're going to use this now to start to line up better. So we want to think here. I've picked my reed, I've got it a cup outside the left. I'm going to now make sure this ball is aligned outside the left. So where I want to start the ball to allow it to take the break to then give us a chance of holding the putt. So once that's lined up good, guys, we're then going to go into our routine. So we're into our setup, we've got into that position, and the final thing we want to work on is pace. So the tick box system is, I've read the green, that's one tick, I've aimed my ball, that's the second tick, I've got my posture, I've looked at the hole for my pace, and then I'm going to come in, set up, one last look, and then pull the trigger. We can see it rolled very good there. Roll perfect, so the lines on the ball were going end over end. It's missed to the right, so a lot of people there would instantly say, well, you've misread that. No, I didn't misread it, I've just underpaced it. It never got to the hole, so ever so slightly underpaced, but my percentages from here, I'm probably only expected, it's around about 10 feet, is 1 in 3 as a tour player. So think about your handicap. If you're off 20, you're going to be looking at 1 in 7, 1 in 8. The odds are not great from here, but the main thing we're trying to get you to do is not 3-putt. You're going to save more shots by not 3-putting, and that's what we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about a drill that you can do for your pace to help you stop 3-putting. Right, James, take us away.
Now, this is one of my favourite drills of all time. This has been used by pretty much all the best players in the world. It's a little game that you can play with yourself to make sure you get that distance control correct. So all I'm thinking here is about my stroke length. So I've got a nice quick tempo that I'm going to keep throughout all these 3 putts. We've got 4 foot, 8 foot, 12 feet. And generally all I'm thinking is, can I get this ball either in the hole or in the safe zone? So you see the safe zone there between the hole and the flag, that is a putter's length away, so you could call that a gimme. They're the ones that really you shouldn't be missing if you're well practiced with them. If you do get really good at this, you can move the flag just up to a putter shaft length. Obviously that's a little bit of a tighter zone, so I'm going to say that I get a point to get it in there, James. I want to see you do this drill. Tag us on Instagram, tag us in our community page, tag us in the comments. Do this drill, see how many points you can get. 1 point to get it in the safe zone, 2 points if you hold the putt, but you'll lose a point if you leave it short or if you hit that flag. So I've just made this quite a bit more difficult by making that safe zone smaller. Now what changes here from the 4 foot putt to the 8 foot putt? What changes, Chris?
So a lot of people think, well, we just hit it a little bit harder, we give it a little bit more pace, but that's incorrect. What we're going to start to see is we just want to see a longer motion on the way back. You can see James there, a nice long backstroke.
Oh, you're joking, the wind's held that up.
And the wind, no, he'll blame everything.
So that's 1 point that I've got. I've got 2 in the safe zone and 1 short. Unfortunately, the stroke just wasn't long enough. So all we're going to do, guys, we're going to keep the rhythm nice and the same, keep the setup the same. We're going to work on that stroke length to allow us to get more ball speed, to allow us to get the distance right. So James, I really hope those have helped. Guys, if you want your kind of little one-to-one lesson like we've given James here, make sure you do go and check out Sunday Club, click that join button, and we will see you on either Sunday or Monday. Oh, it's so windy!